Sometimes we always kind of second guess ourselves because we're always wondering why we don't get enough opportunities, enough clients, enough job offers, or whatever it may be, whatever opportunity that you're trying to search for, whatever opportunity you're trying to seek right now. But the reality is that we have not because we ask not.
And who, at the worst, if he fails, at least fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who neither know victory nor defeat.
Welcome back to the Winter Arc Podcast. Today is September the 12th, and this is journal entry number 9. But I just want to take a moment today and kind of dwell on the idea, the famous quote from the Bible that Jesus says, "You have not because you ask not." And the reason I wanted to bring this up was because this really isn't really a spiritual truth of what I'm about to say or any kind of thing that has to deal with biblical absolutes or anything to do with religion per se. But I just thought I would use that quote to kind of get across this simple idea. Lately, I've just felt, at least in, 2 weeks ago or so, a week and a half ago, I just felt like, you know what? I feel like I'm behind. I feel like I'm not getting as many opportunities. So I want to talk about the fact that sometimes we kind of make things more complicated than it needs to be. Sometimes we get into our head and we think that we deserve a certain opportunity, we think we deserve a certain job, and we think we deserve wealth, fame, whatever it might be. But the reality is that we don't often consider the fact that there is multiple opportunities always before us. We only need to ask for them. And so how can that actually be accomplished? So for instance, in this past week alone, I've been able to make 4 new opportunities for myself by just simply talking to people and just simply asking people if they want to be a part. Like the one guy that I'm going to have on as a guest for this podcast, I was just talking to him about different things and just like asking him if he would want to be a guest on the podcast. And then he opened up to me about like, oh, hey, would you want to actually help me with my podcast studio and stuff? And I was like, oh my gosh, I would love to. It would just be a joy. I love doing stuff like that for people. And just like in general, like whether or not I get paid doesn't really matter. But that alone was an opportunity, not to mention like other people who wanted help with their podcast services. And I don't know, it's just growing into this wonderful thing where I'm simply just reaching out to people and simply just asking. But this may not be someone that would pay for my services if I would offer to edit their podcast, or if I would offer to manage their podcast and distribute it, or if I would offer to, produce or help produce their podcast and stuff. It's not about that fact. It's about the fact that I simply just reached out. It's about the fact that I simply made a connection. And oftentimes we when we want to be selfish and when we want to make ourselves successful, we often try to do it in our own strength and try to make it happen. This actually leads to, it can lead to burnout even if you are successful, but this often leads to us not being successful because we did not consider the fact that we need community, that we need connection to be able to make opportunities for ourselves. And so that was just kind of a thought that I had today, and just kind of a thought that I've been thinking of as I've started to talk to more people about what they're looking for in their own podcasts, and just like what people are trying to look for in terms of opportunities and their own like ideas and stuff like that. Because guess what? If you can solve someone's problem, or if you can inspire them to solve their own opportunity or to find their own opportunity, there you go. You have already put a foot into the door of actually succeeding in solving people's problems. You know what we call that? We call that a lead. We call that a client. We call that a sale, honestly. And, this isn't a business podcast or anything like that, but I just thought I would bring this up because it can be applied to sales. It can be applied to whatever you're building. It could be applied to your business. It could be applied to your personal life. It's just the fact that if you want opportunity, you're going to have to put in the work and consider that community is the only way you're going to make that opportunity for yourself and others. And that's the thing. That's the key thing. You have to make opportunity for others if you want opportunity for yourself.